Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for coming. My presentation is going to be on harnessing ecosystem best approaches for food security and climate resilience in Africa. The vulnerability of climate change to Africa is well known, and is no longer an abstract issue as established by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and other reports that have been produced for the continent. This actually brings to the forefront that vulnerability has to be addressed, and the resilience of the 1 billion African citizens who are suffering from the changing climate have got to be put in place. In November last year, the UN Environment Programme, in collaboration with other agencies, produced the first Africa Adaptation Gap Report. And this report paints a very bleak picture, showing that there is almost a 95% probability of reaching a 2 degree. And if this happens, crop production is going to reduce up to about 20%. And there's also a possibility of reaching 4 degrees. And in a 4 degree world, the areas where we grow maize, sorghum, and millet will become unable to actually help produce these crops, which are actually staple crops that provide food to the continent. At the time when the population of the continent is increasing up to about 1 billion at the moment and increasing up to about 2 billion in less than 36 years from today, it is therefore quite very, very imperative to ensure that the extra 2 billion people that will be produced in the continent will have food to feed themselves. So at the moment, the continent at the same time, under the Food Security Index, last year showed that out of the 10 most food insecure countries in the world, 8 of them are in the African continent. And this resounding reminder of these tax statistics brings us to the fore to ask the question, will we be able to feed the 1 billion mark that will be added to the continent in less than 36 years from today, and at the same time adapt to the changing climate? The discussion happening at the time when the Millennium Development Goals will expire in less than 1 year from today, giving birth to the Sustainable Development Goals. So approaches to address food insecurity and build climate resilience, and at the same time solve alternative challenges that are plaguing the continent, like ecological degradation, poverty, all these together have to be done in such a way that we're using a very holistic approach. The future of food security in the continent is bleak. Based on the statistics that came out of the report and also from the IPCC, the continent crop production will reduce up to about 20% in 2020, causing malnutrition of up to 95%. 95% in West Africa, 25% in Central Africa, 85% in Southern Africa, and 50% in Eastern Africa. All these, coupled with the statistics from the UN Economic Commission that shows that malnutrition could increase up to 16%, could cause the economy to reduce, to the GDP to reduce up to about 16%. This is quite really troubling, because the continent at the time when there is projected growth, if the GDP is going to reduce as a result of malnutrition, then this is something that has to be looked into, and the resilience of the continent have to be built. So the bigger question is, under this scenario of climate change and food insecurity, is the African continent ready? Solutions, as I indicated, that are cross-cutting and provide alternatives to addressing sustainable development goals, food insecurity, ecological degradation, malnutrition, poverty, and at the same time build resilience to climate change are quite very imperative. We know that ecosystems provide so many services, services of regulation, services of provisioning and supporting. And at the same time, ecosystems are quite very instrumental in addressing the 4 pillars of food security. So what needs to be done to address these challenges is to ensure that ecosystems are valued as productive assets, and at the same time also investing in these ecosystems. Using examples of some work that the UN Environment Programme in collaboration with other agencies have done, Mozambique, for example, using ecosystem-based approaches in a city called Shai Shai, interventions in restoring mangroves and at the same time giving people alternatives like fish farming and crab farming, resulted in helping address food insecurity and build resilience and restore mangroves in the city. In Togo, in northern part of the country with the northern part was suffering from water insecurity. Rehabilitating water dams provided water to the entire community, and at the same time reduced the number of hours of girls who were traveling with very long distances to fetch for water, and other great alternatives like entrepreneurship in brick construction and market gardening. In Burkina Faso, using small holes called Zai, where they capture water, and as a result of capturing this water, with organic matter, they resulted in water retention, providing water and resulting in yields up to about 500%. In Burkina Faso, again, empowering women and actually introducing agroforestry helped them not only to generate income and ensure food security, but also adapted to climate change. All this together shows that if ecosystem-based adaptation is actually integrated into food security policies and climate change policies, this could not only address food security, but could provide alternatives and opportunities. So, investment in food security is important. Developing policies that balance measuring, maximizing food production with ecosystem is imperative. And ensuring that we strengthen governance and invest in research that look at how ecosystems can actually be the underlying first entry point into addressing food security and climate change is imperative. Last year, in August, the UN Environment Programme in collaboration with the FAO organized the first Africa Food Security Conference to take stock of the examples that are existing and how to build, address food security, climate change, and also ensure the productivity of ecosystems. So with all these experiences existing in the continent, they show that interventions of addressing climate change and building the biophysical and social resilience already exist. However, communities are already practicing this. And if we build on this and make this the norm rather than the exception, and build using these ecosystem-based approaches, we will not only address food insecurity and build resilience, but at the same time ensure that Africa will not experience the fear of want as a result of food insecurity. Ecosystem-based adaptation could actually be the way forward in business resilience. Believe it.